Başlayalım mı? Hı? His Excellency Minister Mehmet Fatih Kacır, His Excellency Ambassador Jürgen Schulz, esteemed AHK Türkiye President Pınar Ersoy, ladies and gentlemen, dear members and participants. My name is Duygu and I am the Ankara representative and head of politics of AHK Türkiye. And I will be your host today. We are sorry for the small delay, but it's an important day for our country as we will have our first space mission. So we had a small interview with the minister here. And welcome to the climate talks. This is a joint event organized by the German Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany and AHK Türkiye about the green transformation and decarbonization of industry in Turkish-German business cooperation. As we embark on this journey together, we aim to explore, dissect, and envision the strategies and pathways that can lead us towards sustainable, eco-conscious industries in both our countries. With this said, I would like to invite our President, Mrs. Ersoy, to stage for her opening speeches.
Dear Minister Kacır, dear Ambassador Schulz, dear panelists, guests, dear AHK members. Before welcoming you all, I would like to express also sorry for being late, but it's a remarkable day today since our minister, made this speech that the first Turkish astronaut will go to space on the 9th of January. So it's very important for the Turkey, and I think we will watch all like in the 50s and 60s the Americans did. I am happily welcoming you all to our joint event Climate Talks, organized by the German Embassy in Turkey and the German-Turkish Chamber of Industry and Commerce, AHK Türkiye. As AHK Türkiye, we have committed ourselves to contribute our fair share to stop the human-made climate change. Therefore, an integral part of our strategy is to focus on green transformation. Under the umbrella of green transformation, we are rendering an array of different activities such as workshops, delegation travels, events like these, work groups like energy and green transformation, and last but not least, the German-Turkish energy partnership with various topics such as green hydrogen and energy storage. We can say that luckily or finally, governments, institutions, companies, and many human beings are committed to join forces in the fight against climate change. Agreements have been made, commitments have been given, and programs have been set up, and a lot of solutions and activities are already underway. Of course, it is not enough, but it is a step towards the right direction. At the COP28, the world tried to reach an agreement for a clear phase out of fossil fuels. Unfortunately, this has not been fully achieved, but we still have hope. As we are just at the very beginning, we all together will have to put a lot more effort into this massive change. It is indeed the challenge our generation has to tackle. And for sure, the devil is in the detail. So, how to bring more speed into this transition? Money and finance, respectively, and I'm glad that I can say this as a banker, it is the key element to make it happen. Therefore, the taxonomy will play a major role to lead sufficient capital into the remodeling of energy production and our industries. Furthermore, new rules and regulations will affect business activities. The Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, will bring a new level and pressure on how we will do business by producing and trading green and carbon-free products from Turkey to Germany and the European Union respectively. CBAM is intended to raise the price of emission-intensive imports from the third countries to the European price level in order to compensate for the competitive disadvantages of companies in the EU as a result of stricter climate protection requirements. Admittedly, the practical impacts are not fully outlined and clear yet. Nevertheless, it will indeed be a game changer, as everyone who wants to start or to continue trading with the EU has to adhere to these rules. Talking about trade, I cannot emphasize enough how strong the economic ties between our two countries are. More than 8,000 German companies are active in Turkey, some of them for more than 150 years. Looking back, since 2002, almost 12 billion US dollars have flown from Germany to Turkey as foreign direct investment. And the trade volumes are jumping from record to record. Last year, the trade volume reached 45 billion US dollars. And this year, the trade data is looking promising for another record. AHK Türkiye will keep working on its mission to improve and increase the trade and business relationship between our two nations. With the CBAM, this mission certainly does not become easier. But in every challenge lies a bunch of opportunity. Therefore, I am very pleased to attend today two panels with experts, which on the one side touch upon EU regulations, and on the other side shall give you some inspiration on how to turn this challenge into business opportunities. I am very much looking forward of getting new insights through our panels. Dear guests, please enjoy the upcoming panel discussions, followed by our cocktail prolongé after the event. Before giving the stage to Mr. Ambassador Schulz for his opening remarks, I would like to thank him and the German Embassy for their partnership organizing this event. Thank you very much for all your support. Mr. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Dear Minister Kacır, dear Madam President Pınar Ersoy, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, it is a great pleasure to welcome you all here in Istanbul to the German Embassy's Climate Talk series in cooperation with the German-Turkish Chamber of Industry and Commerce. The climate talks are dedicated to frank debates on the challenges the climate crisis poses to both Turkey and Germany. At the same time, it is a forum to discuss how we can jointly seize the economic and social opportunities the green transformation offers to our countries. Rising sea levels, dramatic extinctions of species, new heat records. The climate crisis wreaks havoc worldwide. In September, for example, entire neighborhoods in Libya were washed into the sea. This summer, Ethiopia experienced the worst drought in 40 years, causing crop failures and food shortages. And for months, storms and forest fires left a trail of devastation in Canada, the United States, Spain, Greece, but also in Germany and in Turkey. These are just some of the devastating effects of climate change that we have seen recently. The climate crisis poses an enormous threat to peace and stability, too. The destruction of the environment is exacerbating conflicts over increasingly scarce resources. It is driving millions of people from their homes. More than 3 billion people already live in regions that are severely affected or threatened by the effects of climate change, and their number is unfortunately growing. Switching to renewable energies and lowering dependency on fossil fuels This is not only a requirement of forward-looking environmental protection. Climate policy is also policy for innovation, policy for economic growth, and an imperative of security policy. The fight against climate change can only succeed in a joint effort by the international community as a whole. We see that the global regulatory framework is coming under increasing pressure. Still, international climate cooperation shows that multilateralism can be successful, also in times of geopolitical polarization. A lot has been achieved since the UN Climate Change Conference in Paris 8 years ago. Based on the Paris Agreement, almost 170 countries presented their climate targets. Alongside many others, Germany and Turkey have increased their level of ambition since then. Today we stand at the threshold of a global climate-friendly energy system. The proportion of renewable energies in electricity supply is increasing worldwide, for example. Solar energy currently becomes the cheapest source of energy, creating new development prospects in many countries. According to estimates, around 112 million people will work in energy transition jobs by 2030, more than twice as many as today. As a result, global investment in renewables is by now higher than in fossil fuels. At the same time, it is clear that our efforts do not suffice. We are in a race against time, and so far we are too slow. Before Paris, the world was on a 4-degree path. Now we are on a 2.5 to 2.9 degree path. But we are still a long way away from our goal of limiting the global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees. And clearly no state can single-handedly stop climate change. It is only by setting ambitious targets together that we can find a way out of the climate catastrophe. This year's climate conference ended yesterday in Dubai. More than 150 heads of state and government attended, including President Erdogan and Chancellor Schulz. This underlines the great importance of the COP. The global stocktake, the first ever assessment of progress made on mitigating global warming since the Paris Agreement, provided a good occasion for a course correction towards accelerated ambition. Because the decisive decade is now. And we have to be clear, if we miss our 2030 targets, we will not reach net zero by 2050. We already possess the necessary technologies, knowledge, and also the financial means to keep 1.5 degrees within reach. Wind power, photovoltaics, battery technology, green hydrogen, etc., etc. And the task at COP28 was to make bold decisions and pave the way to a climate-neutral world with the resources that we have available. From our perspective, from a German perspective, the COP negotiations ended with a successful outcome. Firstly, this COP acknowledged that we need a dramatic acceleration in the expansion of renewable energies by 2030, namely a tripling of installed renewable capacity and a doubling of energy efficiency by 2030. Secondly, COP28 is the first climate summit where we agreed to move away from oil, gas, and coal. This COP sent a very important message that the world sealed the end of the fossil age. Thirdly, if we want a just solution, we must help the most vulnerable countries to adapt to the consequences of the climate crisis. On the very first day of the COP, the Loss and Damage Fund was operationalized. This was a great success for climate justice. The COP hosts the United Arab Emirates and Germany each pledged $100 million to this end. As of today, there are almost $800 million in this fund. It is essential that all countries in a position to support the most vulnerable do so. Of course, this includes the industrialized countries, but it also includes those countries that have greatly benefited economically from fossil fuels or achieved high growth rates in recent years. We have all a joint obligation. Clearly, public funds alone will, however, not be able to meet the demand for climate financing. And this brings me to my fourth point. We must also mobilize private funds. To do this, Germany seeks to redirect international financial flows into sustainable measures and initiative reforms at the IMF and the World Bank. This is why we are pleased that the COP28 agreed on a comprehensive revision of the climate finance targets at the next COP in Baku. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the EU has set its course for climate neutrality by 2050. Under the European Green Deal, all EU member states will reduce their greenhouse gas emissions together by at least 55% until 2030 compared to 1990 levels. This is very ambitious by international comparison. In Germany, my own country, we made a legal commitment to be climate neutral by 2045. Since 1990, Germany has already reduced its greenhouse gas emissions by 40%. By 2030, Germany wants to obtain 80% of its electricity from renewable energies, and by 2035, by 100%. In reaction to the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, Germany stepped up its efforts to phase out fossil fuels, reduce dependencies, and guarantee energy security with an increased sense of urgency. With the new strategy on climate foreign policy adopted a few days ago, Germany aims to lead the way in international climate action as a reliable partner who acts in solidarity with the countries that have contributed the least to the climate crisis but are already hit the hardest. Germany increased its annual climate financing to over 6 billion euros last year. It thereby contributes to the industrialized countries' pledge to mobilize $100 billion per year for climate financing. And of course, we have very closely followed Turkey's great achievements during the last year as it makes the green transformation a success. Turkey has taken a significant step by joining the Paris Agreement in 2021. In the same year, President Erdogan announced Turkey's net zero target for 2053. Turkey made rapid progress in expanding renewable energies as well as reducing pollution in the framework of the Zero Waste Initiative. And it is with great interest that we are currently awaiting Turkey's new climate law. Germany and Turkey need strong partners and need each other to meet the challenges of climate change. Our strategic interests overlap when it comes to countering the climate crisis, securing energy supply, and fostering economic growth. What is more, our countries share a great economic potential, and the president of AHK has just referred to that in her introductory remarks. Around 8,000 German companies operate in Turkey. Together, Turkish and German companies can become pioneers of technological advances and sustainable business practices. That's what we are aiming for. And with the German-Turkish energy partnership, we prepare our energy systems for the future. For example, with our joint work on the provision of green hydrogen. We also work closely together for the financing of solar power plants, wind farms, and geothermal power plants here in Turkey. I'm firmly convinced that Turkey and Germany still have great potential to further intensify our climate cooperation, and we just alluded to that in our few minutes that we had with the Minister, who shared this goal from his perspective. Be it smart grids, solar panels, or municipal exchanges on adaptation, we can learn a lot from each other. This is why we are very pleased that Turkey and Germany just signed a memorandum of understanding for more climate cooperation during the COP. Next to advancing concrete cooperation, where we share common views, I believe that it is equally important to exchange on issues where we still need to find common ground, such as the timing of phasing out fossil fuels. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, an important field for future cooperation is without doubt the decarbonization of our industries. the topic of today's conference. According to the International Energy Agency, direct carbon emissions from industry account for about a quarter of energy-related CO2 emissions. Heavy industry, steel, cement, chemicals, is responsible for around 70% of industrial emissions. Germany and Turkey face interdependent challenges when it comes to decarbonization of emission-intensive industries. Both our countries' economic prosperity depend on heavy industries, and both countries are under great pressure to drastically and quickly cut emissions. This becomes all the more relevant as the EU phases in the so-called Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, we just heard about it, an instrument to prevent carbon leakages that applies to companies exporting to the EU. In order to lay the foundation for decarbonized industrial production as the standard business model, globally, the German G7 presidency initiated the so-called Climate Club. The Climate Club was officially launched at the COP28 a few days ago and provides an inclusive intergovernmental forum to support efforts toward rapid and ambitious implementation of the Paris Agreement. Before concluding, let me say that we are delighted that Turkey has joined the club just now. Together, we will create new markets for climate-friendly products and build a reliable international framework that will encourage investment in new technologies. Before closing, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all panelists and moderators, as well as the German-Turkish Chamber of Industry and Commerce for the joint organization of this conference. And my special thanks, of course, goes to Minister Kacır for his participation today. I wish you fruitful discussions, and I'm really looking forward to the exchanges in the coming hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now I would like to welcome to stage His Excellency Mehmet Fatih Kacır, Minister of Industry and Technology of the Republic of Turkey. Sayın Bakanım, the floor is yours.
Dear Ambassador, dear AHK President, distinguished guests, I'm very pleased to be with you at the event of Green Transformation and Decarbonization of Industry in Turkish-German Business Cooperation. I greet you all with respect. I would like to thank the German Embassy and the German-Turkish Chamber of Commerce and Industry for bringing together leaders and stakeholders from both countries to collaborate on sustainable development and green innovation. Distinguished participants, Turkey, anchored in its rich historical and civilizational heritage, has consistently maintained a people-centric philosophy. Even in challenging global times, our commitment to the welfare and progress of humanity has remained unwavering. We extended support to 160 countries in their battle against the COVID-19 outbreak, providing essential medical equipment and material aid. We formed humanitarian corridors to lessen the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war on food and energy security. We are also raising our voice against the human tragedy unfolding in Gaza and the unlawful actions of Israel, affirming our commitment to human rights and the pursuit of peace. Another challenge confronting us today is the climate change. This escalating environmental crisis has compelled all nations to re-evaluate their industrial policies. Turkey, owing to its geographical location, finds itself vulnerable to the effects of the climate crisis. Remarkably, even with our comparatively low carbon emissions, we stand among the nations most severely affected by the adverse effects of this disaster. We are aware of the urgency for efforts in mitigating climate change to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future for coming generations. In our Ministry's commitment to tackling climate change, we have strategically focused on green transformation, aligning with our target to achieve net zero emissions by 2053. This involves several key initiatives: increasing investments in renewable energy, facilitating the green transformation of the industry, focusing on R&D activities for decarbonization, and adopting an approach that develops international collaborations in this area. We have provided incentives for investments in renewable energy and storage technologies exceeding $30 billion. Thanks to these incentives, 55% of our installed capacity in electricity today is coming from renewable energy resources. In the next 12 years, we aim to triple our installed capacity in renewable energy to achieve sustainable energy development and secure our energy supply. Turkey's robust production capabilities are a key driver in achieving our ambitious targets. We are #1 solar panel producer in Europe. In the wind industry, we have successfully become the 5th largest production base in the continent. In our commitment to renewable energy, Turkey is not only leveraging its strong production capabilities and expertise, but also actively developing policies and projects aimed at the green transformation of our manufacturing industry. This initiative includes the launch of the Green Growth Technology Roadmaps, designed to pinpoint the technological needs for green growth in various sectors and to establish dedicated areas for R&D and innovation support. Turkey Organized Industrial Zones project targets the expansion of facilities for wastewater treatment, recovery and reuse, along with the development of biogas infrastructures and solar energy systems. Furthermore, the Turkey Green Industry Project, a collaboration with the World Bank, represents another key facet of our green transformation efforts. With a budget of $450 million, this project is crucial in preparing our industrial sector to meet net zero emission goals. It encompasses a wide range of areas, including renewable energy, resource efficiency, circular economy, and waste management, supporting both small and medium-sized enterprises as well as large corporations. Complementing those efforts, our incentive system is continually being modernized to better encourage green investments, aligning with the evolving needs of our industry stakeholders. A notable step in this direction is the formulation of the Green Transformation Incentive Program. This program will provide special incentives for companies in adopting decarbonization technologies and integrating those critical solutions into our broader investment strategies. Distinguished participants, we are deeply committed to supporting research and development activities in decarbonization and renewable energy technologies. Over the past 21 years, we have supported more than 2,000 projects in this area and increased our patent applications by 50 times to 1,051. Additionally, over 100 technoparks and nearly 1,300 R&D and design centers, employing more than 11,000 personnel, are dedicated to sustainability and reducing carbon footprints. We place great importance on international collaborations in our upcoming R&D activities and green innovation projects. In the next period, public institutions and international development organizations will play key roles in securing climate finance. In collaboration with the EBRD, we have developed decarbonization roadmaps for the steel, aluminum, cement, and fertilizer sectors. These roadmaps evaluate alternative technologies, projected emission reductions, investment needs, and policies specific to those 4 priority sectors. We have created sectoral roadmaps that serve as guiding frameworks for the green transformation of those industries. We are also utilizing the Horizon Europe program to establish Turkey's first hydrogen valley. We aim to develop the hydrogen economy in the leading South Marmara region, which provides 13% of our country's total electricity production and has nearly 3 gigawatts of installed renewable energy capacity. As in all areas, Germany is our most frequent partner in framework programs. We are delighted to enhance our R&D and technology collaboration with Germany, one of our biggest trading and investment partners. Turkish and German researchers and innovative companies have participated in over 680 projects, creating a project volume of more than 1 billion euros. Those projects range from research to improve industrial energy efficiency to R&D activities that reduce carbon emissions. The complementary strengths of Turkey and Germany's industrial, technological and trade infrastructures provide us new opportunities in developing projects and programs for green transformation. We want to intensify our efforts in this field not only through international organizations and programs, but also through bilateral collaborations with Germany. For green transformation, we are open to collaborations including joint production, technology transfer, bilateral and multilateral R&D projects, and international partnerships. Our inclusive and humanitarian perspective towards the climate crisis, along with our policies, actions, and projects in this area, will continue on the international stage. With this opportunity, I am pleased to announce that Turkey is now part of the Climate Club to support the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Turkey will always maintain its proactive participation in all international endeavors that benefit humanity. As I conclude my remarks, I extend my gratitude to the esteemed participants, speakers, and the hosting German embassy for this special symposium, and I greet you all with love and respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, for your inspirational speech. I would like to, before we let you go, I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, and our President, Mrs. Pınar Ersoy, back to stage for a small gift ceremony. As we will be talking about climate throughout the day, we decided to donate trees on your behalf for a greener future. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear participants, we will continue with our first panel on CBAM and taxonomy and how EU regulation drives transformation after our short coffee break. See you in 15 minutes. Thank you.